Good morning, everyone. Today's Thursday, September 23rd, 2021. The time is 11:01 a.m. This is our weekly HR meeting. Attending Commissioners Duncan, Brooks, and Filios. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
We do.
We added an item, is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, number 9 was added,
Okay. So we've added an item to our agenda.
which is the request for new hire overlap for the drug court coordinator for training purposes. And then there is a correction to number 2. That is a temporary conversion of a control room operator, not an echo.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Okay.
So on the second one, is that going to be an issue?
Well, I don't know, are they late additions to the agenda?
No.
So they were noticed properly?
Well, it's not online. The proper one is not online.
So if you're adding items to the agenda within the 24 hours required for notice, you have to
Right.
You need to make a record of why it's timely. It can't be put off to another time, and it could be properly noticed.
Well, what happened was that the correction was sent in time to meet the agenda, and it just wasn't updated to the official agenda on the web.
It's on there now, but when I looked for it earlier, it hadn't been updated yet. So that's
what do you suggest, Dave?
fine. We can definitely do the number 1, but the change is that time sensitive because they have somebody they want to hire part-time right now. Okay, so they are both time sensitive, so I'll make that motion.
Just make a short record of the time sensitivity.
All right,
Sure.
so we're going to need a motion to add that item?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So I move that we approve the amended agenda, which has 2 emergency items that were added within actually it was outside the 24 hours. But one of them is a request for new hire overlap for drug court coordinator. Then the second one is a change to number 2, which is changes emergency communication officer to a control room operator. And there is somebody ready to be hired, so that is time sensitive as well.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Filios.
Aye, and the motion's carried. Okay, so then moving on to our agenda, the first item is a request for higher duty pay for jail booking records clerk for KCSO. Marcia?
Yes, Marcia Heglie for the record. We had an employee who was out on an extended FMLA leave, and we had another employee fill in her place and would meet the criteria for the fulfilling the duties at a higher rate underneath our compensation policy.
Okay, and this is so this is temporary?
It was temporary, yes, and actually it was from July 9th through August 31st that we're seeking pay for.
Okay. So Dena, what does that do to payroll? They just have to go into all those different pay periods and fix that?
Yep.
Okay.
And then was the FMLA person, it says budget increase, but was the person being paid while they were out?
Yes, because they're on an FMLA
Because
using
they're
their
on
benefits.
FMLA. Yeah.
Using the benefits, okay. So it hadn't gone to a non-benefit situation yet?
No.
Okay. And I am sure there is salary savings there.
Okay,
Cover that.
fair enough. Motion.
I move that we approve the request for higher duty pay for the jail booking records position as outlined, and this goes back to July 9th of 2021.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Filios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Moving on to the second item, which is temporary conversion of an emergency communications officer to part-time with Percy. Once again, KCSO. Go ahead, Marcia.
This is actually for a conversion for a control room operator position. We have, as you all are aware, have had a difficult time filling these positions. We do have someone who is wanting to work in this capacity, but is unable to work a full-time position due to her college schedule. And she has gone through and has been approved for hire. And we are looking to see if we can get a temporary conversion from a full-time to a part-time position. And then upon either her completion of schooling or if she separates, that it would convert either to a full-time or into one of the deputy positions as you guys had approved.
Okay.
So it
Questions?
says it's a budget increase, however, it's not really, because it's, Dena, did you?
It's a lower rate, is that what you're looking at?
No, it's part-time, so,
So the position number that's
Full-time
being
to
used was funded at 50% for FY '22.
gotcha.
So salary savings would have to
Salary savings, okay.
pick up the slack for that one.
Got it.
Okay.
Bill, any questions?
No.
Motion.
I move that we approve the temporary conversion of the control room operator position.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Thank you. Third item, adoption of the new grade for senior records clerk to jail purchasing agent, HR. Sylvia, Kim?
Yeah, so we had received a request from the sheriff to reclassify a existing senior records clerk to a purchasing agent for the jail. The sheriff's office already has an existing purchasing agent under another division, so it was an existing grade. So this is just the request to adopt that change.
Okay. Questions?
Is there a reason why it's happening outside of budget season?
Yeah. Anybody want to respond to that?
We had initially sent these classifications down during when they were going to be reviewing all the job descriptions. And we ended up pulling this one out and singling it out to have them revamp this one because we felt that this was one that needed to be addressed because of the changes in this job description. So it did get sent down later than we would have liked to have had it graded, so.
Okay, and then what is happening to the other position? Is it just going away?
It's not a change, it's a conversion. It's taking her from a senior records clerk title to a purchasing agent because that closely aligns with what, she is the jail's purchasing agent.
Okay.
So it's getting her put in her position accurately.
Okay,
Okay,
so
and
that other position goes away then? I mean, it's not, I shouldn't say go
We're not
away.
replacing a position,
you.
we're just converting it.
Thank you, that's what I wanted to know.
Okay, so there's a step up in grade, but you're not replacing the position?
Correct.
Okay. What's the impact, financial?
Well,
That's the next item.
Oh, that's the next item. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
jumping ahead. Okay.
I would mention that the sheriff's office has a large number of job descriptions, and so they have been, trying to go through, they do have a bigger volume than other departments, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go to a motion, or do you want to take up the next item and then go back to?
No, we have to adopt the new grade first.
All right,
So
go ahead.
I move that we approve or adopt the new grade for the jail purchasing agent.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried, so thank you. Moving on to item 4, which is the, wage adjustment due to the reclassification for the jail purchasing agent. Once again, Kim? Marcia?
Yes, in front of you should have the impact, I believe, that
Yes.
the auditor's office has figured, and it looks like the estimated increase would be 3777.52, and that would move her from, I believe, if I'm correct, Kim, she was at 81% of her old grade, and this would move her to 81% of her new grade.
It was the closest step that would correlate with where
Okay.
she was previously at.
All right, and that's an estimated annual impact?
It's loaded.
Okay, thank you. 3770, okay, I'm fine. Questions, anyone? Motion?
I move that we approve the wage adjustment due to reclassification for the jail purchasing agent.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion's carried. Item number 5, a request to convert the cadastral Tech 2 to cadastral mapping specialist 1 in the assessor's office. Reba?
Actually, it's
Oh,
Allison.
Allison, take it, okay.
Thank you. Allison Knapp for the record. On this one, we are just converting our cadastral tech, or Tech 2, over to being a Specialist 1. It is a title change. There is no change in pay for this.
Okay.
So what happens to, I guess you don't need somebody as a,
Cadastral 2, or Tech 2.
Actually, that we've been approved for a new position, and that's the position we're going to advertised for.
Okay, so that's budgeted, is what you're saying. Okay.
Okay.
Are we good?
Yes, I guess so. But now we're downgrading a Tech 2 to a Tech 1. Is
No,
that
it's
all?
a specialist. They're a mapping specialist.
Oh, I'm
Instead of
sorry. I'm
tech.
looking at the memo.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah, and so are we not handling the going from the 2 to the 1? That's just going to be
Yeah,
a.
it says you're downgrading the Tech 2 to Tech 1.
My apologies on that. That was my memo, so.
Okay.
No,
So-
It's a CAD Tech 2 is going to a mapping specialist 1. They're the same pay grade, so there's
Right.
not going to be any down.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I guess I'm asking does the map specialist 1 exist? That position exists and you're just moving the person?
Yes, we do have a job description for that, correct?
We have a job description, we do not have an active position number
Okay,
that's available. So that's why she's bringing it forward to, as I understand it, to basically convert a cadastral tech 2 to a cadastral mapping specialist 1.
okay, and
Right,
was that
correct.
budgeted as far as,
Yeah.
because I know you guys got approved for a tech and a this and a that, and I don't have it straight in my mind.
It's not a new position that we're putting that into. And we've been approved for the one coming up, we're gonna bring in a CAD Tech 1.
Okay, I guess what I'm asking is this approving a new position?
No,
No,
Okay, so there's not going to be any new bodies, it's just
correct.
conversions.
FTEs would remain the same.
The number of FTEs would remain the same. Thank you. Sorry, it took me a while to get to that.
Yeah.
I
Yes,
made it confusing by that memo, so.
okay, well, thank you. I mean,
Okay.
thanks for the clarification. Okay,
Bill? You okay? Okay, motion.
I move that we approve the request to convert a cadastral Tech 2 to the cadastral mapping specialist 1.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion's carried. Item number 7, adoption of a new grade for clerks, executive assistant, HR. Who's taking this? Oh, I'm sorry, went ahead. Request to convert Title Clerk 2 to Title Clerk 3 Assessor.
all right, that one is in our DMV department over in Post Falls.
Okay.
And I will let Anna explain essentially what that duty change.
Right, so it's kind of the same thing that we've been talking about. It's basically just a conversion to add a promotion for a clerk 2 that's already there. So it wouldn't be adding a position, it would just be adding a promotion. Back when, a year or so ago, we did have that position promotion, if you will, clerk 3, as staff, but with people leaving, new people coming on. At the time, there was nobody to promote at the time.
So it was
to-
downgraded.
So it was downgraded
Thank
at
you.
the time so that we could bring on someone to fill. But at this time, we do need that position filled. We have staff that are capable of doing the job.
Right.
And we are in need of filling that over in Post Falls. at this
Okay,
time.
so just making sure this position was a 3, then it downgraded to a 2, now we're
Now
just
it's
putting it
going
back up to 3.
Right.
Okay,
Right.
okay,
Fair enough.
I'm good with that.
Bill?
Nope, no problem.
Motion.
I move that we approve the request to convert the Title Clerk 2 to the Title Clerk 3 for Post Falls DMV.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion's carried.
Hold on, I just want to ask this question, though.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's put as an increase, but it shouldn't be, because it should have been budgeted as the
As a
Title
3?
3.
It is an increase because we would be promoting someone from a clerk 2 to a clerk 3.
Right.
So we're not necessarily adding a body. It would
Right.
be converting it, as you will, to a clerk 3. So there would be an increase on that.
But if it started as a Clerk 3
Yes.
earlier this year, then there shouldn't be any budget impact because the budget was already there.
You budgeted for 3, took them back to a 2, moved them back up to a 3.
But if you converted during the budget process, it would have been pulled in as a 2.
Okay, so for 22, it was pulled in as a 2.
That's.
Okay.
Okay,
Can we
okay.
fix that for next year? Yeah.
Okay,
We just
so
wanted-
if we're doing mid-year conversions, do you not want that change then in the system?
Change what?
So if mid-year, during the
ahead.
budget process, a person changes and gets downgraded, or a position gets
Position.
downgraded, so it's less budget, we update those payroll changes every, during the
Yeah.
budget cycle. So then it pulls in at whatever is current.
Right.
So then we shut the budget down, and now it changes back. It's budgeted at whatever level it was at the
Right.
time. So if we know that we're gonna be converting back for the next year, we probably should address that
Yes.
before we close the budget.
Yeah,
just
yeah, my feeling is leave it as budgeted, because that way, at least if we do in fact fill the position at the budgeted level, we know that I'm
Okay.
going in circles now.
So
We
we'll
know
wanna
that it's
track,
budgeted.
we'll wanna
Yeah,
track
yeah,
that
we
for
do
next
need to track that, so.
Got
Yes.
it.
Yep.
Thank you. Motion, please?
I think I did that already.
Did we?
So, yeah.
Oh, we did, that's right.
Yes. Yeah, I was just going backwards because then I realized, it said increase and I needed to know why.
Okay. Item 7, adoption of new grade for, clerk's executive assistant, HR.
Okay, so
Kim?
we were asked by the clerk to reclassify their existing administrative assistant clerk. And we had an existing grade already that had been under the sheriff as an executive assistant. The updates to the job description met that criteria. And so we are bringing forward a grade 7 as a change for that position, asking you to adopt it.
Jennifer?
Yes, with this position, we're having more responsibilities. Since I started and this person started, we had about 90 employees. We're now, position-wise, about 105. And the duties and responsibilities of the clerk's office are growing every day. And I think this is an important role to carry on institutional knowledge going forward into the future for success for the county.
Okay, so I can see the budgetary impact, right? Just about 10,700?
Yes, and we
Sort-
had money baked into the budget. We confirmed with Dena in the position of 21,862 extra that we have right now sitting there. So
Okay.
it's essentially going to be budget neutral.
Okay. Sylvia, Kim, anything? Leslie?
The only thing is if this person leaves because they have another job offer, then they're just going to get hired at this amount.
Yes,
When they,
and first I just talk about the conversion of the position, but the person does have a firm job offer at grade 7, steps 5, which is 97% of market within the county. So I do think it's worth keeping this person.
Does she have an actual offer?
Yes, she does, a firm offer.
Okay.
yep.
We steal from one another. That's how desperate
know.
we become. Okay. Can I be coroner? I mean,
You really?
At least we're keeping that institutional knowledge
Never
within the
mind.
organization.
All I know is I don't want one of those three.
you're not alone, Jim, I'll tell you. Anyway, never mind. Okay, anything else? Motion?
I move that we approve the adoption of the new grade for clerk's executive assistant.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. So that then takes us up to item 8, which is the wage adjustment due to the reclassification of the executive assistant. Once again, the auditor.
Yes, as we were discussing, this position this person was offered a very firm offer within the county at a step 7, and so we do want to match that regarding the matrix that we have here. And so that move will be the impact, again, it will be budget neutral, loaded is $10,701.
Right, and,
Yes, I'm sorry, did I say that? Grade 7, step 5.
yes,
I'm learning these grades and steps again.
yeah, that's fine. Right, so my understanding is there was 21,000 approved in the budget for an internal process. That internal process is being worked out a different way, so
Yes,
this
we're getting
money.
that current job description graded and going forward with that process. And then once that's graded, likely, at this point, we think it likely will stay at the same grade. And we'll move them with their experience in the CIA knowledge and certificate
Yeah.
testing that they did to likely a step 5.
Right,
And that
so-
will keep everything still, I think, $1,000 plus.
I think we're about
under.
1,000 to the good.
To the
all
good.
total.
Okay.
All right. Motion?
I move that we approve the wage adjustment due to the reclassification for executive assistant.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion's carried. Item number 9, request for new hire overlap of drug court coordinator for training, specialty court. Carleen.
Good morning, Commissioners. Carleen Behringer for the District Court. I'm here today to report that I'm very happy that we did recruit a new person for the drug court coordinator position. Tanya Reynolds, the current drug court coordinator, will be retiring October 18th. So we would like Tanya to have some time to train the new coordinator. So we're asking for 7 days of overlap for training.
And that's the $1,875.
$1,675.
$1,675, forgive
Yes.
me.
And then, because this person's obviously been with the county a long time and their retirement, the new person will be brought in probably at less than what the current person's making. Is that correct?
I'd have to check that.
Okay.
She was hired at 95% of midpoint.
Right. So I guess what I'm trying to explain is the fact that it's going to be budget neutral throughout the year because this person will be making less than the person they're taking over for. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
it says
Yep, yep, yep,
increase
yep.
right now, but it's not going to be in the long term.
Right. Well, the increase is the overlap, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's just an incremental cost.
But then when the
Incremental.
person retires, then we're going to have salary
And you have
savings.
salary savings, right, understood.
Okay.
Bill, okay?
Okay.
Motion.
I move that we approve the request for overlap for the drug court coordinator position.
Second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion carries. Okay, so, thank you, Carleen. Item 10, classification of sworn officer cost of living, effective date for fiscal '22 HR.
Yes. The purpose of this request is when HR and the comp team was looking at cost of living and the matrices, we had done the projection of the sworn officers, those individuals on that matrix, getting their cost of living on their anniversary date. While it was brought to our attention, and then we did some research and had extensive discussion and looked back a year, and their increase actually occurred on October 1st, and then they got their step on their anniversary date. So I'm coming before the board to ask that approval be amended and grant the COLA for the sworn officer matrix employees as of 10/10/21. The cost impact from what was budgeted and making this change. So overall, we had $2.8 million in the budget for all the salary changes plus compression. And when I presented on September 9th, we were like $2,500 under budget. With this change, because it makes a difference, and you have the worksheet in front of you that was put together for us from Nancy Clough, thank you very much. Our number has changed to $2,960,000, $393.80. So we're shy, $160,000 and $163.93.80. My recommendation, we had set aside also $250,000 for mid-year increases throughout the year for these HR meeting type things. The board 2 weeks ago already had approved to use about $68,000, a little over $68,000 to bring on the payroll tech. So then if we allocate the COLA increase there, that'll leave the $250,000, $21,343.20 if we take that overage for that COLA out of that pot of money.
Okay. What is that pot again, Sylvia?
It was just a
for
set
mid-year
aside, and
increases.
maybe Dena can talk
Okay.
about
Oh,
it.
that was
for
mid-year,
Mid-year
Dena?
adjustments, increases.
Mid-year adjustments.
That would be coming before the board during HR meetings of
Okay.
this nature.
So essentially, we're out of all the extra money that we projected for '22.
Yes.
So I would ask this board to entertain 0 changes until after the start of the calendar year in January, because there is no more money. HR needs to go and do the wage study. We've given COLAs, we've given step raises, we've given bonuses. I would like all this movement to stop so everybody can just take a breath. We don't have any more money, and HR's busy.
Sounds reasonable. What do you think, Sylvia?
It'd be nice that if there isn't some emergent or really compelling reason to bring forward the changes, that we maintain the status quo for a little bit and let things settle in and we see how they look, because payroll's trying to enter all this stuff. We have open enrollment, but there are situations where it's gonna be an emergency. Or if you're gonna lose a staff person that you're then gonna have to replace anyway at 97% of market, then to me, it appears a relevant issue to bring forward rather than losing the person, the institutional knowledge. You look at those kind of situations on a one-off, but where there's significant changes, if we can hold, we hold. HR does direct anybody who makes a request to us, to the commissioners to get approval to go before the board and have us do this. So we will continue to do that. But we need to see how this all shakes out.
So in addition to that, what about a situation where you have a grade change? So now, if we change the grade, do we have to change the salary at the simultaneously, or can we delay the increase?
Well, past practice has been that you give a salary increase with the grade change, but policy allows if they're at least within the range, you don't have to do it. You do have to make sure that they're at least at minimum of the grade and that they align on a step within the new matrices that we've developed.
How many more of these are coming in the hopper? How many more are in the?
Currently, we have, I'm trying to think now, we have one that potentially are just going to be reviewing. And then the others, I believe, are just updates.
Okay, so let me get this straight. When you say it has to align with the new level, okay, so for example, if there's a grade change and they're at a grade and they're at, I don't know, pick a number, 95% in that grade, and now there's a grade change. When you talk about alignment, do you mean that they've got to be at 95% in the new grade?
Well, at least on a step within the new grade.
They have to be at, it used to be 81%. So they would at least have to be at 81%, because that was our minimum that we
So they
hired.
have to, they have to meet at least a minimum?
Yes.
But like in the change where the grade is changing, say it's a step 5 as a grade 6, you would want to make sure the grade, and their job calls for it to be a grade 7. If you're going to keep them at the step 5, the 7 level is going to be slightly higher because we have differences in the levels. And so you would be hearing those type of situations coming forward. And we do want to pay people for the job that they're doing.
Sure.
So hopefully those will be minimal, those types of reclassifications, because with job descriptions, what we've tried to do is say, okay, let's update job descriptions, but the board at one point had said, but any changes to classification would happen at budget.
Right.
But if it's too significant, I think we'd have to come forward. But most of them are just changes in the job
So
descriptions.
then, how does?
There's been minimal reclasses because job descriptions were way off. That has been minimal.
So how does it play into what you're recommending?
Well, you have different levels. You have just take Ann's department. I mean, they're getting to a critical point where it's costing us one way or the other. They either have to conflict out or we have to pay the people more to get them hired. So that, to me, that's legitimate. That's a constitutional thing that we have to provide. But when we have other things that aren't necessarily that significant, that maybe we just say, please wait until January because there is no more money. So it's, we just don't have time for this.
Makes sense. I'm just trying to,
Well, and
make sure we
taking
can
a step
actually work
back,
it.
if I may, just
Yeah.
taking a step back. Now that you've approved a matrix for everyone,
Go ahead.
this sets us up for success in the budget because it's going to take a lot of the drama out. Sylvia's team is going to run this new wage study, so we'll know where to put people. Once they're in that step where they belong and across the board, everybody's where they need to be, the only thing that's going to happen every year is we're just going to budget for a step. And if there's a COLA along with it, that COLA is gonna move with that step. There's not gonna be any surprises. So again, once everybody's where they need to be and the compression is taken care of and all the mess that's all over the years that you guys have been trying to clean up, we should take a lot of drama out of this. It should just be a regular budgeted step every year. We shouldn't have too many emergency situations.
And the problem with continuing to address these one-off situations is we are creating compression across the county. So yeah, we are solving one problem and creating 10. So that's why I just really would like to say, can we just take a break until January? I mean, if something is not mandated bleeding, then we just need to take a breath and address it in January, if anything rises to that level. But at this point, we're out of money, we're out of time.
Go ahead.
I like overall changes that reduce the drama. I also like to be able to review, and I think that's within the purview of the board, special circumstances. And we can talk about them and argue about them and then vote on them. So I'm not in favor of this.
So what are you saying?
I'm not in favor of the motion.
So you want to,
Well,
you want to take them up as they come up?
When something comes up, I want to be able to look at it, and sometimes it's reasonable to do, and sometimes, most of the time, it's not.
And that's where we defer the departments making the request to the elected official to say, yes, it can be on the agenda, or no.
Which is what we've been doing. So then if we continue to do that, there's no change.
Right.
Can I just point out that
Yeah, please.
what you're contemplating isn't really on today's agenda anyway? It's something you're kind of adding. So if you're gonna put a hold on new hiring or new adjustments, not hiring, but adjustments.
So why don't,
I think you need to do that in another meeting when it's properly on the agenda.
not a bad idea. You want to throw it on the next one?
Yep.
Yep,
We'll
let's
do
put
that.
it on the next HR. Good point.
But in the meantime, I would recommend that we approve the sworn officer cost of living to come
yes, that's
out of
correct.
the 250,000 set aside, which is now nothing.
I'd second that motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion's carried. Thank you. Okay, almost done.
Almost done.
Fiscal, item number 11, fiscal year 22 salary increases, update, employer list, and revisions. Sylvia.
Yes, so we're in a transition period from when we hire somebody and the new systems go into place. So what we have to do is go back and look at some new hires, and these were new hires from September 7th. There's 3 on your list. We have to make sure they're at least at minimum or that they're on a step. And so the purpose of bringing this forward to you is just to correct those and get people right on the step that they need to be, so we align with the matrix. So looking at it from a cost perspective loaded, just real quick, those 3 changes equate to $3,855. But what I recommend is that we have that remaining, out of the 250,000, we had a remaining 21,343 with the approval of the COLA change by using those dollars. But I truly believe with turnover, it's a wash. It's pretty much a wash, and these positions could have been potentially open and budgeted as at market. So it's kind of a wash, but I did want to call it out. So if we had to use that $3,800 for these 3 changes, it would leave you about $17,487.55. So it's down to pretty much nothing. So, but I will probably be bringing you this list maybe 1 or 2 times. We're trying to catch as departments are making offers to employees. We've told everybody use the matrix so we don't have to go and tweak
Yes.
it before they make the offer, because we're going to try and align it perfectly with it. If not, we don't take it down. We talk to the departments about, okay, can you go that next step? So we're really trying to work through that as we transition to this new method.
Okay. Questions?
Nope.
Yeah, motion.
I move that we approve the salary increase updates for the new hires as presented.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks.
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan.
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion's carried. Final item, compensation policy 120, hiring salary ranges. Once again, Sylvia.
Yes, so with the adoption of the matrices, section 3.5 of the policy needs to be somewhat adjusted. With our scale, so under the old policy, the hiring department's elected official or the department head could go to as much as 95% of market based on experience. While with the matrices, the step 5, which you would consider about a 5-year experienced employee, is 97% market. So I have before you a memo asking you to make an amendment to comp policy 120, just this section at this point, because we need to revamp the whole policy as a whole. But I wanted to call out this part so that departments could start working under this new methodology of bringing new employees on board. So currently, minimum, if you meet the minimum qualifications, you're typically brought in at minimum. Under, that would be for the new and the new revisions and the old policy. 87% of market allowed for up to 1 year experience under the old. Step 2 under our system is 85% of market. So we're saying anywhere from minimum to 1 year experience, potentially go 85. Step 3 under the new process is 89% of market, and we're calling that with for individuals who have 2 to 3 years experience. 89% of market was 2 years of experience under the old system. Step 4 now becomes, for 4 years of experience, 93% of market. That would be the same. And step 5 changes. Instead of 95% of market, it is now 97% of market. And we've always said like a 6-year employee is market, 100% of market. And step 6 is how we aligned it in the matrices. So I did ask Darren to review the memo and see if there's anything else from a legal perspective we could do. And he's on the line, so I don't know if he wanted to add anything, but he felt this change fell in line with what we needed to do. And then in the very near future, we'll bring you a total revamp of comp policy to review, but it's a monster, but we just needed to do something now.
Is this going to cause compression issues?
Well, it could, yes. And what we need to do is, and it's in policy that as departments are making offers to new incoming employees, they need to be looking at where their employees are currently to see how that aligns. But the old policy caused this as well. So it does, and we have a lot of work still to do with compression. We've addressed some of the supervisory compression, but the employee compression, there's no money to do that. I would hope with the market study, if we aren't way under market, that there might be some dollars to use for compression and put some separation of our tenured employees from our new employees.
Okay, so if a hiring manager wants to bring someone in at below the recommended, in other words, let's take, for example, the individual has 5 years, it shows 97, and the hiring manager wants to bring him in at 93.
They can.
They can, okay,
So
that's his
anywhere
bracket.
from minimum to up to 97% of market would be at their discretion.
So they really ought to be considering compression when they do that.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's
and
a
it
balance
does-
between getting the individual and the effects of compression.
Yes, yeah. But with today's market, we are
Yeah, I know.
finding it's harder and harder to get employees, so it does have an impact on it.
So potentially, depending on what the wage study shows, maybe we just knock off the first 2 steps.
Yes.
Because if we can't hire at them, why
Yeah,
do we
what's the
have them?
point?
Exactly. And we can look at when we get market data, if our grade 2 should go away because it's too low or whatever.
Yeah.
But we don't want to pay positions over market unless we have some good data to say, okay, this is what we need to do. And is what we're experiencing, is it just a temporary thing, or is it gonna be with us? And if it's gonna be
Right.
long-term, then we need to make those adjustments, so we can attract and retain our employees.
How many job openings currently? Are we at what, over 70?
72 last time I looked.
Okay.
And we're gonna be posting 28 vacancies, but on our list that we put out every week, CK was telling us there's gonna be 28 positions on there, but that's duplicates. Like if
Yeah.
it's a detention officer, we have several openings.
Yeah.
that sort
Okay,
of thing.
okay,
So we have some work to do.
okay.
Definitely.
All right then, so are we looking for a motion here?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Um,
Leslie, you okay?
Sure, I move that we
Bill?
approve the change to policy 120 temporarily until we have the policy in front of us.
I second the motion.
Bill Brooks,
Aye.
Commissioner Duncan,
Aye.
Chairman Philios.
Aye, and the motion is carried. Thank you, everyone. Public comment? I'm going to ask again, because that's a big deal these days. Public comment? Hearing none, 11:42, meeting adjourned. Thank you.
Darrow.